Coming up on the Braves Sports Network, we have Inside Braves Athletics, another edition coming your way. We've got a double header here on this edition. Coming up, as you can see, we're going to be talking Lady Braves softball with head coach Gabrielle Harris. She's coming up in a matter of moments. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the 1871 collective in this new landscape, pay for play, all of that. We're going to be talking with J.J. Smith of the 1871 Collective. Looking forward to talking with him and trying to see what this new landscape looks like from the collective standpoint. So we'll take a 30-second break. We'll get right into it. Coach Gabrielle Harris coming up next. We'll be taking your questions, your comments, all that coming up next after this 30-second timeout on the Braves Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Smokey Robinson.
Some names immediately evoke an uncommon sense of family, an unmistakable sense of character, an undeniable sense of legacy. Always. Where trailblazers and innovators chart new paths of possibility. Where academic rigor empowers the strength of character to lead with knowledge and integrity. It's a name that harkens back to over 150 years of truly making a difference in our world. Always Alcorn.
And we welcome you back to Inside Braves Athletics. Glad you can join us here on this Tuesday. Every Tuesday for the last several weeks, we've been talking with different coaches. And as we have football coming up next Wednesday, we'll be in Birmingham for SWAC Football Media Day. No show next Tuesday. After Media Day next week, we'll get back into the football side of things. We'll be talking with some of the assistant coaches and new assistant coaches come on board. Coach Fosselman, we'll talk with him coming up in the next few weeks. But here on this program, we're going to be talking softball and the 1871 Collective. I'm Charles Edmond. Glad you can join us. Our producers, Jamario Brooks, Cedric Tillman. You can join the conversation. You can text a question 601-301-2611. And I'm on X Tall Man Radio. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you joining the conversation. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, as you can see for those that are watching, Lady Braves new volleyball coach, Gabrielle Harris, joining us. Coach Harris, we appreciate you coming on. And congratulations for being Alcorn's next volleyball coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. I mean, just talk about that process of you were an assistant under the previous coach, and clearly, she did a really nice job. And just getting that job, getting the opportunity, just talk about that.
Right. So Coach Prince gave me an opportunity to come in and kind of just showcase my skill, really be very hands-on in developing practice plans, game strategies, things like that. So very grateful to her for the opportunity of bringing me on. This has been a good first year. They say when you get here, the air is cleaner and the water is sweeter. And I've kind of gotten a little tap into that. So really just enjoying the Brave family and being embraced by A.D. Robinson and so many other head coaches here. It's been a smooth transition. So I'm just excited to get to work.
Anytime you step into a position, you always hear the word transition. And sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's a little bit bumpy. But, of course, you've been here. And as a matter of fact, not only assistant volleyball coach, you were statistician during the home basketball games. I mean, so you have your hands in a whole bunch of different things and did a really good job at it. Previous coach Landon Bussey was really hard on the stats and trying to make sure the stats were right. But
he was.
Talk about learning that side of it, because in addition to what you did with volleyball, you were kind of sort of thrown into the statistician fire.
Right. So just getting here at Alcorn, I just wanted to roll up my sleeves and kind of get to work. There's a lot to be done. There's so many great things already happening here, but just excited to have the opportunity to roll my sleeves up and get going. So AD presented me with the opportunity to be able to learn the statistician role. So I was able to learn that quickly. It was a curveball because, like you said, Coach Bussey was on me on the stats, so I learned on the fly. But I like pressure, so I was able to adapt and be able to just kind of run with it. So once I kind of got the software down, I was able to contribute that to make the basketball season go a little smoother.
People that know how to do that know how to do that. I've been asked, can you do it? Can Charles Edmond do it? Heck no, I can't do that. I mean, being able to, you got to have people. It is a challenge. I was sitting right next to you while you were doing it. You have people in your ear. Number 24 gets the rebound. Free throw by number 17. I mean, so you have to have your head on a swivel, kind of just like you hear the coaches talk about, and but you did a really good job with it. What did you learn from just doing that once you were done with the volleyball side of it?
Um, I would say the biggest thing is just being calm to be able to still execute, right? Like you said, there's a lot of things happening during the basketball game. The fouls being called, the whether it was charges or points scored, who scored, where they scored, being able to kind of give an accurate depiction of what's happening in the game is crucial. So being able to maintain that calm definitely is something that I'm able to transition into volleyball with. Something that I get to practice every day being a coach and now head coach. So I'm just super excited about it.
Well, which is harder to score, basketball or volleyball on paper?
I'm gonna say basketball just because you have the different point ranges from 2 and 3. Volleyball, a kill is a kill, right? So if I tip roll, I got a different million ways to score a point. A point is a point. So definitely basketball is a little bit more difficult.
Well, speaking of difficult, taking over, you talked about taking over for Coach Prince. Talk about some of the things that you really learned working underneath her, working with her. In terms of that aspect of it, and talk about the process when AD Robinson called you. What were you doing? Were you nervous about it? Were you kind of ready to move on? What was kind of all of that like during that process?
Yeah, it was a good process. Coach Prince definitely taught me a lot within the year we were together. Just being able to come under her and learn a lot of the business side of the game. So I call myself a bookworm. I'm always in the game, always learning, forever student learner. So the game, when it comes to strategy and skill, it was something that I've just kind of developed over time. So specifically, she was able to teach me a lot of the compliance, a lot of the business side of things, a lot of the Division 1 strategy behind SWAC. So SWAC is definitely competitive. SWAC is, you have a lot of great coaches in the SWAC with a lot of great experience. So being able to compete with them and be able to add those analytics and strategy to my IQ was definitely something she helped me with and helped me elaborate with. When AD gave me the call, I was just excited. It was an opportunity. It wasn't something that I was looking for or expecting, but God got a plan for me at the end of the day. So I'm just excited to see where He takes me. And something my dad always told me is my gifts will make room. So I'm just excited to let it do just that, make room for me.
We are talking with new Lady Braves volleyball coach Gabrielle Harris. Coach, I got a chance to do volleyball for the SWAC Digital Network a few years ago during the COVID year when it was in
Okay,
Birmingham. And when I tell you it was a lot of fun, but it was a challenge for sure. The
absolutely.
digs, the kills. I mean, there's a lot involved, and just the athleticism. I mean, you see it on television. You see the beach volleyball on TV. You see Nebraska taking on UCLA in front of 20,000 people. But when you get up
Right.
close and personal with it, an athlete that can play volleyball. I mean, basketball, volleyball is kind of the same. You got to jump, you got to dive, you got to dig. I mean, it is just so much athleticism with volleyball. How in the world do these players do it? I mean, you have to jump so high and kill and get above the net. You got to get up high and block. You got to dive. You got knee pads. I mean, it's kind of a cross between basketball and football. That's kind of what I look at with volleyball.
Right. So something I tell all the time is volleyball is a game of mistakes, right? So it's who can make the least amount of mistakes and who can control the variables. And so that's something that we preach a lot in our gym, and that's something that we train our girls a lot with. If you can be comfortable under pressure, then you can excel in this game because you do have to jump high. You do have to find different ways to score. Unlike other sports, it's not one way to score in volleyball. It's not put the ball through the hoop or get the ball across the field goal, the finish line. So it's one of those things where you have to be creative in your shot selection. You have to be creative and you have to be able to be adverse and diverse in your strategy to be able to compete. So one of the things that I love about this game is that you get to showcase that. You get to kind of manipulate offenses and defenses, just like any sport, but I just think mine is a little bit better.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
can definitely tell you have it all lined up. And one thing about volleyball, you score when you do something, but then you also score when the other team makes a mistake as well. So you don't have to be perfect with it. You just got to put yourself in the best possible position because the opposition could make a mistake, and that's a point too.
Right. It's super crucial in volleyball just to be able to apply pressure while still being under pressure. So being able to again control the controllables, and being able to just be calm and collected when you're able to see what the other team presents on their side on their offense and be able to just defend adequately is super important to be able to put pressure on them and be able to score a lot off of just them making mistakes. So serve receive will be a big piece of our game this year.
Looking forward to the upcoming season. So you got the job. You're in that seat. What were some of the first things that you did once you officially were named a volleyball coach?
Um, the first thing I did was just take care of the girls that I'm bringing in. So I'm bringing in 11 kids. You got six transfers, five freshmen. So just making sure everybody is settled in their class schedules, housing, stuff like that. Got to take care of the people that are coming in the fall and really just preparing for it. Starting to go ahead and unlock that 26 recruiting class, trying to see what else is out there so that we can just really build the program, not just this year, but for the next couple of years. So that was the first priority. Now that I've kind of gotten that settled and the girls will be here in 23 days, I'm pretty excited about that. The next thing is just trying to make sure that we can prepare for SWAC play. So developing our culture is going to be super beneficial, super crucial during this time. Because like you said, it's a new group of girls. You got 11 girls coming in, 5 returning. So just getting them all to play on the same page into the system that I want them to play into is going to be very impactful. So that's my next focus and just making sure our culture is set straight.
Well, I know you're focusing ahead with all the recruits that you have and the returning players that you have. How often do you look back at just this past season? Some folks just kind of flush it regardless of what they do, win or lose, championship or not. But some just kind of take stock in terms of what happened and learn from last year. Where are you as far as last season is concerned?
I think you have to have balance. So when I first got the position, I definitely was still going through the analytical process of, as a coach, what can I do better? As a program, what do we need to do better? How can we rebrand volleyball at Alcorn? Because we just need a new look. We need a facelift. So there was a process, and there is a process. So just trying to going back and seeing what I can do better. But I'm really just embracing the clean slate that we have. So that's something that we definitely are going to focus on. Just being able to say, hey, we got a new group of girls, we got a new mantra, a new culture. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
What did you learn from last season? Tough, just only one match won, so it was a tough season, obviously. But what did you learn out of all of that?
Resilience. So again, SWAC is very competitive. SWAC is a good conference to where it really can be any man's game at any day. So you just have to be able to step to the plate and go full throttle, no matter the day, no matter how long you've been on the road or whatever adversity you challenge or you come with. You got to be able to be resilient enough to be able to compete. And so I'm developing this brave state of mind that I'm talking about with the girls so that we can do just that. My first priority is to make sure we can compete. One of the things that I think really hurt us last year is that we had so many high and low days where we couldn't be consistent. Consistency is going to be key because, again, we can't get to that side of the defense or the offense where we're manipulating the other side or putting pressure on the other side and being able to score points off of that if we're always in our heads or always not even ready to show up to the plate. So that is something that I definitely learned, and that's something that we will make sure that we have in check this year so that we can compete at the highest level because we are a Division I program. So
How do you preach consistency in volleyball? We know in baseball what that looks like. You go 4 for 4. In basketball, you got 24 points, 14 rebounds. In football, quarterback throws for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's consistency. But in volleyball, what do you term consistency in volleyball?
doing the little things to the point that where when we're training, it's not that we are training to get the drill done. We're training to not make a mistake. Like it's second nature for us. Right. So when you can control those sides of the game, when you can read well, you can be able to move quickly through balls, you have control over your platform, you have a finesse with your shot selection. then you're able to be a little bit more consistent in being able to find different ways to score. So doing the little things that you do well. If you're a defender, are you low? Are you calming your platform? Are you moving your feet quickly? If you're a setter, do you have consistent hands? Do you have a quick wrist on the ball, being able to set the offense and run different options and give different hitters a chance to get open? If you're a blocker, are you smothering that net? Are you owning it? So just having the confidence behind it to just say, hey, I'm here and I'm ready to compete. So I think that's super important, developing that mentality so that you can do the things that you're supposed to be doing well.
You've looked pretty comfortable, Coach, in terms of just where you are. I mean, just being handed the keys to a program, I know there's a lot of anxiety with that. But just in being around you during the home basketball games, and I know it's frenetic, but you seem to be in a good place, in a good comfort zone. Is that appropriate?
Absolutely. Definitely comfortable in that this feels like home. I was able to get here and get right to work. So a lot of people don't know this. When I first got here, I was able to just pick up and go run right into practice. Hadn't even moved in yet. So just super excited and just excited to have an opportunity that it can be homey. I'm from Memphis, so I tell my recruits all the time, you don't really ride down the street in Memphis and everybody waving at you saying, hey, how you doing? But you do get that here when you get on campus. It was an adjustment to say, hey, everybody's speaking, everybody knows Coach Gabby, or the girls call me CG, so everybody knows CG. So definitely comfortable in that aspect. So definitely a good home away from home.
Pretty comfortable. We're talking with Lady Braves volleyball coach Gabrielle Harris. Glad you can join us. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit about the 1871 Collective. And Media Day is next Wednesday, and we'll be live in Birmingham talking football beginning at 9:30. We'll talk with our athletics director, Eden Wayne Robinson. Speaking of that, just talk about the conversations just coming in, working with AD Robinson and just trying to get comfortable there.
Absolutely. AD is cool, man. AD is a great guy. He is one of those administrators to where he has an open door policy. So if I have questions, if I have concerns, he's able to answer them. If I have needs to the program, he's able to help give me guidance in that. So I'm just super grateful for the opportunity and to have a good relationship with AD so that we can develop the program. Of course, it takes resources. It takes a good relationship with your AD to be able to develop those resources. So he's a pretty cool guy to be able to go to and get advice from, from developing the program, but even my own professional development as a coach. So it's really been nice to be able to have a shoulder to lean on.
And Alcorn Athletics is in a pretty good place. We've got Coach Thomas, second year football coach, new men's basketball coach. Of course, is your first season. Lady Braves basketball coming off back-to-back SWAC tournament championship appearances. Seems to be a lot of forward momentum, a lot of exciting things to talk about once we get into the sports season.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a big year for Alcorn. We're climbing, we're fighting, so I'm excited from it. Even just the leadership development programs and meetings that we've had as head coaches, being able to bounce ideas off each other, whether it's recruiting or compliance, getting NIL together for the school, and being able to just expand on resources, whether it's relationships or whatever it may be. It's been really nice. So just being able to have that team mindset amongst head coaches has been really nice, and that's been spearheaded by AD. So pretty excited about it.
Well, folks always want to hear about recruiting. So you talked about it a little bit, 11 new, 5 returning. Can you kind of give us some names, some people to look out for, and obviously the players that you have coming back?
Right. So I'll start with my returners. I have 5 returning. They were all freshmen, so I got a chance to develop them this spring and try to get them just to a more consistent level in their skill. So really excited about some things that Bailey will bring. Bailey will be a good middle blocker for us. Aaron will be a great DS for us and be able to fight for that lib spot. So super excited about my returners. My new girls coming in. I'm pretty excited about them. I got a lot of different personalities coming, whether that's a little bit of our international flavor with Juliana coming in, or is that some big transfers. We have a transfer, Courtney Carter from Tarleton, and an All-American JUCO transfer, Kyla Powell, that I'm pretty excited about. Those both bring high energy, fast arm swings, and just a true competitive edge. But we got a big time freshman coming in ready to make some noise. So I'm excited about Rylan Jones. Rylan is coming in. She's actually an Alcornite through and through. Her family bleeds purple and gold. So I'm pretty excited for them.
When you look at recruiting, coach, I mean, was that a challenge this year? Was there a lot of interest in Lady Braves volleyball despite the record last year? How was the interest in terms of going out and getting players?
It did prove to be a challenge, just because, for the most part, we did have to bring in a big class. We only had 5 people return, so being able to have access to the portal was huge. Being able to have connections with junior colleges was huge. So being able to change their perspective and give them something to hope for and believe in, finding girls that want to be the change in the program was super beneficial. But it was difficult. It was hard to just get them to be open. But I think once I got them on campus, it was on and popping. So when they got here, they were like, okay, I do like the atmosphere. I do like what you're building. I do like the girls that you have here. So didn't really lose many recruits once they got on campus. So when you talk about the distance and just location in Mississippi, sometimes you say, I don't know if I want to go that far from home. So I really kind of tapped in to some of the local high school, the local club girls, and being able to bring in some of those. But I was really blessed and had a lot of girls that wanted to come in, wanted to make an immediate impact. So the initial conversations could have been difficult, but in the long run, it proved to be pretty good, having the right people here at the right time, because they all want to play and they all want to go hard. So I'm excited. Alcorn pretty much sells itself. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and what I'm noticing is that, being where we are location wise, you have folks from coast to coast. They're kind of used to from New York, from California, from Chicago, from Michigan. They're used to the fast pace of that place. But then they come to Alcorn. It's different. There's no doubt about that. But they actually enjoy the difference. How important is that? And I'm sure you got some of that with some of the recruits that you brought on campus, because they were sold right away.
Right. So I got 2 kids coming in from California. And so they definitely were beach life, fast paced life. And when they got here, one of the things that really just opened their eyes was just the intimacy of campus. When you go around, you have President Cook in the cafeteria, you have AD Robinson in the cafeteria, you have so many different department leaders, accessible. And that was super important, to be able to walk around and see Dr. Gaston in her office and have good conversation with our administrators was super big. And then be able to have things to do on campus that may not necessarily they may not necessarily have at home, but we're still intimate into creating a college experience here. So seeing our sororities and student activities and stuff really kind of sold itself, just because once you're engaged, you have a great college experience. So the accessibility to staff and administration, and the visibility and just that family mindset, everybody gets here and says, oh wow, it really does feel like home, like we're our own community here. And I think that's definitely a true testament.
Well, now that you're the head coach, you were an assistant coach. Talk a little bit about hiring an assistant coach or coaches. What's the process there? Where are you with that?
Right. So I'm in the process of working with AD Robinson so that we can get it posted and advertised. Just being able to open our options and seeing, definitely just looking for somebody to come and fill that role and be able to add and contribute to what we're building here at the program. But haven't really set my eyes onto anyone yet.
So that's still a work in progress. What kind of time frame are you looking at?
I would like to have them before our first games start. I'm blessed to be able to have a couple managers and students that are able to kind of come into that staff role to help me in the preseason and things like that. But just like I told my girls, we're gonna be good regardless, so we're gonna compete.
We'll talk about the schedule going forward now. Here we are right after the 4th of July. I'm sure time's going to start flying right on by. And before you know it, it'll be August. Before you know it, it'll be band camp, football camp, and your players will be coming in. And kind of give us the timeline over the next few weeks.
Right. So we were great it was a great opportunity for us that NCAA granted us an extra week to be able to train, so our girls will be able to train and come in just a few days earlier. So we're definitely going to maximize that. We'll have roughly about a month to prepare and kind of get everybody on the same page. So the month of August will definitely be developed to skill development, strategy development, and just getting everybody adapted into our culture. Our first game is set for August 30th, so we're pretty excited to take on Nichols. And then from there, we just kind of keep running. So we play up until November 16th is our last game against Alabama State, I believe. It's either Alabama State or A&M, and we'll be able to compete through then. So we got a couple good months set out for us to where we can play some high-level volleyball.
So August 30th, Nicholls State, is that at home or will you travel?
We'll be at home, so you'll have to definitely pack the stands and give us some support. We see all the purple and gold everywhere and cheer our girls on. They're super excited.
What's your philosophy when it comes to putting the schedule together? Was it already put together before you took over? Did you have some interaction in terms of putting the schedule together?
I did. So I was able to kind of find a balance in our schedule, finding some really competitive games to prepare us for the SWAC and some really good games to kind of see what we got and be able to run different options. So I'm pretty excited about our schedule. I think it creates a good opportunity for us to be able to just develop what we have on our side of the net and then be able to execute on against different teams in other conferences. So pretty excited against the Nichols and the Louisiana Tech. We have a good tournament in Memphis at Christian Brothers University, and then just going from there. So I really built it out so that we prepare for the SWAC and we'll be able to take care of business and get back to that
Well,
tournament.
excuse me, because you answered the next question. I'm like, is it safe to say that you're going to have some sort of volleyball action in Memphis? You almost took the words right out of my mouth. The answer is yes.
Yes. So we'll be in Memphis a weekend. So it'll be really nice to be home just for a little bit and see a little family while they're there, get them to come in. So I'm excited about that. We actually own a restaurant in Memphis. So I'm excited to take the girls by our restaurant and eat good before the game, get us some good fuel. So it'll be good.
Well, look, I like to eat, so I have the pen. You have my attention for sure. So I've got my pen. I love to eat.
Okay.
I like Memphis, and I'm sure fans are watching who love to eat. And of course, we got a football game in Memphis. So
Right.
what is the name of this establishment so I can go and partake in this?
So you have to hit the crock pot too. It's on East Shelby Drive. And it is good soul food cooking. So if you go on Sunday, the thing you need is some beef ribs. They go crazy, my all-time fave. Any other day in the week, I'm going catfish every time. So my family owns that restaurant, but my dad operates it throughout the day. So when y'all are all at the Southern Heritage classes, you got to make sure y'all swing through the crock pot and get y'all a good plate to eat. Tell them Coach Gabby sent you.
So it's Crockpot number 2. Is that the name of
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
On Shelby Drive.
Yes, sir. Right across from
Man,
Southland High School.
I'm getting hungry already.
Man.
That's going to be a
We
lot
have
of
the
fun. It's going to be a lot of fun bringing your players there to that establishment. I'm sure that's going to be a fun time when you go up there.
absolutely. They'll get to see what real grit and grind is. I'm a big Grizzlies fan, so real grit and grind. So they'll know I practice what I preach.
Oh yes, absolutely. Um,
Yes, sir.
every time we do these interviews, one of the things that fans want to know is what can they do to aid and assist and help? What can Braves fans do to help Coach Gabrielle Harris and the volleyball program?
Um, Definitely gonna start some different fundraising efforts to kind of create the athlete experience for our girls. So definitely in the works of that, being able to donate into our program, but really showing up. So I think just showing them some good experience, showing them some good hospitality, showing them Brave Nation still supports volleyball is gonna be super crucial. So yes, monetary and just different equipment and stuff is great and being able to support the program, but we definitely just need some smiling faces and some people cheering on Brave Nation for us.
The purple and gold pom poms.
For sure. Need Miss Donna to be going.
NIL. You talked about that. Where are things with that? This landscape. We're going to talk more about it with JJ Smith of the 1871 Collective. He's coming up next. But how does that fit into volleyball, and where are things with that?
Right. So really grateful for AD because he's working on getting all sports be able to have access to it. So we'll definitely be able to benefit from it in the long run. But as for it sits to this season, we're just still trying to develop that relationship with the 1871 collective so that we can be able to benefit from the NIL and that experience. So this year we won't be able to necessarily go crazy with it and just be able to run with it. Definitely looking to next year being able to have that relationship set with the foundation and the collective to be able to run with it and really give some support to our athletes and bring in some bigger athletes, higher caliber athletes to come in and make Alcorn their home so they can come and compete.
Has that been a hiccup in recruiting with this new landscape for you?
Not necessarily from this level of volleyball right now as it sits today. Volleyball is a very dynamic sport in that we have 2 professional leagues in the US now. So youth volleyball is continuing to grow every day. So I definitely think within the next couple seasons, we will be playing at the higher level and having higher donations through NIL and having some more difficult conversations when it comes to recruiting. But volleyball is still on that upscale. So pretty excited about the future of volleyball and then what NIL will do for us to be able to see it on our level.
What do you think about the NIL space overall? I mean, it's definitely a new landscape, pay for play, whatever that looks like. What do you think about this whole new landscape that we're in from a coach's perspective and, from a player's perspective?
I think it's a super great opportunity for student athletes to be able to be their own advocates. I think the biggest thing as coaches, what we have to do next is making sure we're advising our students on how to navigate this space. So just being super educational and learning all the different things that we can do and the ways we can support our athletes is going to be super beneficial, because if we just keep handing it to them without any guidance, then who knows where they'll end up, right? So the biggest thing is just making sure as we give, we also give support. So that's super important.
That's Coach Gabrielle Harris joining us here. Coach, give us your email and phone number for folks to get in contact with you.
Yes, please. Big on social media, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's Coach Gabby, GABBYH on Instagram, and then my email is just gharris@alcorn.edu. So definitely shoot me emails and give me a tag on Instagram. I'll be putting a lot of our inside looks to volleyball on my social media. So give us a tag. Again, it's Coach Gabby H for Instagram, and then of course our Alcorn page is just Alcorn State Volleyball.
Coach Harris, we really appreciate you coming on, and I need you to do me a favor. I need you to do me a big favor, okay?
I got you.
Pick up the phone. I need you to pick up the phone and call the crock pot, and I need 4 slabs of ribs with all the sides. I think I can do 4 slabs of ribs. I think we can do that. Can you set that up for me?
I got you. I'm gonna call Dad right now. I got the hotline for you.
All right, 4 slabs of ribs ready to go for that Alcorn UAPB game, and of course, every time I'll be going to St. Louis next week, so I'll go through Memphis, and maybe I'm gonna stop at the crock pot too. I'm gonna try to do that.
All right, I got you. We'll take good care of you.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking care of us, taking care of me during this time. We'll be talking again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the one and only Coach Gabrielle Harris, Lady Braves volleyball coach. We appreciate her joining us, and we'll be talking as we get ready for the upcoming season, August 30th at home at the Whitney Arena against Nicholls State. She talked about the NIL space. What does this mean for the collectives all over the SWAC, especially at Alcorn State University, the 1871 collective? We have questions. The man with the answers is J.J. Smith. He'll join us coming up on the other side of this 2-minute timeout. We'll be right back.
We believe nursing isn't just a major, it's a calling. We're not just teaching skills, we're cultivating trailblazers who transform healthcare. Every breakthrough, every compassionate touch starts with curiosity, courage, and community. At the Alcorn State University School of Nursing, passion fuels innovation. Your journey starts here. Always innovating, always transforming, always Alcorn.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
We always believe in the power of curiosity. Our students don't just study, they reimagine possibilities. Every moment is an invitation to explore, to challenge, to transform how the world understands knowledge. Within our College of Arts and Sciences, discovery meets transformation. Your breakthrough starts here. Always mentoring, always connected, always Alcorn.
You don't fight fair, so we'll just fight harder.
We didn't come here to play around.
You're going down.
Honestly, I hate you.
I'm stronger than you.
I'm more determined than you.
We're going to beat you, cancer.
Because the American Cancer Society is on our team.
And together, we're unstoppable.
My name is John Calipari.
I'm Roy Williams.
I'm Jim Boeheim.
I'm Tubby Smith.
And I'm a coach versus cancer.
We welcome you back to Inside Braves Athletics. We really appreciate Coach Harris joining us. A lot of good stuff as Lady Braves volleyball right around the corner. August 30th at home against Nicholls State. Now we're going to talk 1871 Collective. We are in a new landscape, ladies and gentlemen. It's a different time, and it's mind-blowing, and for me, it's a little bit confusing, but there's a person with the answers right there as we are joined by J.J. Smith of the 1871 Collective. He's joining us.
I don't know about all that, Charles. You're saying I have the answers. I don't know about that.
Well, I have some of the answers anyway, because there's still a lot of stuff out there, and we're going to talk about it. We really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.
And I apologize. I want to offer an apology first, because we should have had you on a while ago. And now, and I guess I'm bringing you on in an important time, because collectives are important in this new landscape, in this new space. The 1871collective.com for those who might want to get more information on it. We're going to get into, obviously, this new landscape, but just talk about starting this collective. I mean, it's a good thing, and you've got several student athletes that have been a part of it. Just talk about getting it off the ground.
Sure. We started it with a small group of people. We actually formulated a group called Braves All Access, where we were providing micro donations to the football program. And then after NIL came about, one of our founders, Mr. Qualls, just asked a simple question. Would you all be willing to give $50 in order to support athletes at Alcorn State University? And everybody raised their hand. So from there, what we did was formulated a small group. I started actually the business with the Secretary of State's office because in Mississippi, you have to be formulated as a for-profit business to be in the NIL space. Gather the tax ID number, and then we went to look to bring about bringing on athletes. And actually, one of our first athletes was from where I'm from Vicksburg, Mississippi, a young softball athlete named Miss Kelsey Lockridge. So we did a lot of talking. If you've been in some of these spaces, Charles, where we've been on the internet and everybody says what you should do, but the implementation part of it sometimes falls behind the excitement and the conversation. So what we said was we need to actually do some implementation to put Alcorn in a good space.
How easy or how hard was it to implement? As you mentioned, there's always this talk. I can do this, I can do that. It's a lot of talk, but of course you want to see action. You know, how hard was it or easy was it to bring it all together?
Formulating it as far as the business portion was easy. Anytime you're trying to build consensus and bring people into a new space is hard. You have your early adopters, your individuals who are excited about it, but then you have people who don't exactly know what it is. You have to explain it to them. Some of our more seasoned alumni weren't really understanding what the NIL space was at the time. So, we have to take the time to have that conversation with them about what we're trying to do, how we're trying to support our athletes. We like to say pay for play, but specifically in Mississippi, it is not pay for play. It may seem like it, but we have to compensate athletes for doing something for us. We can't just compensate them for their athletic accomplishments, or it would jeopardize them and jeopardize the collective and the university. So we try to make sure we stay in the proper space when we're providing those opportunities.
Well, see, I'm learning something because I'm hearing this every time I read an article, every time I turn on ESPN and they talk about this stuff. I do hear the phrase "pay for play," pay for play, pay for play, pay for play. But we need to discard that and throw that in the trash can because that's not what this is.
That's not presently what it is. Now, it may evolve into that with the settlement and schools being allowed to compensate athletes. But athlete actually has to provide a service in order for us to compensate them. So for us, they provide appearances, they do social media posts, they give us specific shout outs at specific events like Swag Media Day coming up. We have one athlete that's definitely going to be there, and we may have some interesting news to provide to the public a little bit later about another athlete.
So you're not willing to break the news right now?
Not right now.
Breaking news is breaking news 8 days out. Breaking news is breaking news 8 seconds out. So we'll definitely look forward to that. So talk about signing athletes or getting athletes on board. What is that process like? Everybody wants to be a part of this. A lot of athletes want to be a part of it, but you only have a select few right now. I know you like to add to the roster. Just talk about how you're able to select the Destiny Browns of the world and the others that have been a part of this collective.
Yeah, absolutely. What we do is we try to have conversations first with the athletic department and their coaches to see if they would be a fit. Even though we want to compensate these athletes, we don't want to be something that's disruptive to the locker room or the program. So we want to make sure that that is a fit first. Then we scour their social media. We have a partnership with No Cap Sports. Essentially, we ask the athletes to sign up with No Cap Sports, and No Cap Sports can give us metrics about their social media engagements, how many followers and things that they have, so we can get a kind of gauge of what compensation we can provide. And then they have to have some sort of appeal, either locally or with the fan base broadly, for us to approach them with NIL. Now, of course, everybody wants to receive an opportunity, and we wish that we can provide that to everybody. But, it's going to be limited to those athletes who have that visibility and provide that additional support to us.
So what's important with the first part that you mentioned, contacting the coach. And so that's the first step, obviously. Talk about that a little bit, because as you mentioned, every player wants to be a part of it. Everyone wants to be a part of a collective and have the appearances and get a little bit of change with that. But there's a process for it. And so I'm sure for every school it's a little bit different, but I would assume the first step is to talk to the head coach of whatever sport that they play.
All right. Well, we do that here. Other places, they may not do that. I know some collectives have taken a direct approach that, hey, this guy's or young lady is a superior athlete. We think they could add value to us. We're going to approach them. But like I say, in an environment like Alcorn, we view it as family. So we don't want to do anything that disrupts that family. We want to work in collaboration with the university. And that's why I'm, glad that Coach Thomas, looking forward to working with Coach Gabby and the other coaches Coach Banks, we have a relationship to where we can have those conversations about, well, yeah, that would be a great athlete, or it may not be the right time for this specific athlete because, this is occurring that we think wouldn't represent us well at this time.
I know in this landscape, everybody wants to get paid. Everyone wants a piece of the action, and it just seems so tantalizing. It just seems like everyone is going to get a piece of the pie. At the bigger levels, there's $20 million allocated for football and basketball. I mean, that's you got some quarterbacks making a couple of $1 million. Coach Morton talked about one of the best centers that he's dealt with, his value. This balance, and I don't know if you could answer it, but just I know everybody wants to get something. Is that a reality for this collective and where we are with this? Some people will get something, some might not, and the conversation's there. Is that something that you all have to have, the coaches have to have? Because everybody wants to get a little piece of change, as they say.
Yeah. Well, that's a conversation we have to have, especially with this NCAA settlement. I mean, the world changed on June 6th, where schools were actually allowed to provide compensation as well. So, talking to the AD, we're going to have a conversation and see exactly what that looks like. In some larger universities, you may have this UBI concept, universal basic income type deal, where everybody gets a specific portion, and then collectives come in and augment that. So we presently augment, and we need to have that conversation with the athletic department and AD and see exactly where they envision it, especially now with the limit going to 105 scholarships. That's a significant amount of funds that the university would have to compensate athletes with for scholarships if they chose to go to that limit. That's approximately $940,000 a year additional. So we definitely have to have those conversations. We're working with A.D. Robinson right now, and he texted me the other night and said we need to get together sooner rather than later, and I totally agree with him. You still there, Charles? Looks like he froze up on me.
Yeah. I still feel logged back in. I'm going to take a quick break.
All right.
Agriculture isn't just what we do, it's who we've always been. At Alcorn State University's College of Agriculture and Applied Sciences, we've always understood that feeding the world takes more than knowledge. It takes heart. Our rigorous programs blend time-honored wisdom with cutting-edge science. Here, you'll join generations of innovators who've always pushed boundaries while keeping their roots firmly planted in tradition. Always growing, always innovating, always Alcorn. Some names immediately evoke an uncommon sense of family, an unmistakable sense of character, an undeniable sense of legacy. Always. Where trailblazers and innovators chart new paths of possibility. Where academic rigor empowers the strength of character to lead with knowledge and integrity. It's a name that harkens back to over 150 years of truly making a difference in our world. Always Alcorn.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
We always believe in the power of curiosity. Our students don't just study, they reimagine possibilities. Every moment is an invitation to explore, to challenge, to transform how the world understands knowledge. Within our College of Arts and Sciences, discovery meets transformation. Your breakthrough starts here. Always mentoring, always connected, always All-Core.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure.
$1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
Agriculture isn't just what we do, it's who we've always been. At Alcorn State University's College of Agriculture and Applied Sciences, we've always understood that feeding the world takes more than knowledge. It takes heart. Our rigorous programs blend time-honored wisdom with cutting-edge science. Here, you'll join generations of innovators who've always pushed boundaries while keeping their roots firmly planted in tradition. Always growing, always innovating, always
be mindful
Alcorn.
when trimming trees around a power line. It's dangerous and could cause damage or injury. Southwest Electric, serving our cooperative members for over 85 years.
All right, we are back. Man, we were just getting into some pretty good stuff here. We're talking with J.J. Smith, Janeiro Smith of the 1871 Collective. We apologize for that. Just all of a sudden, my computer just blanked and started updating. I got to fix that. I mean, that can't happen. So that's my fault. So let's pick up where we left off. You were talking about the relationship and how this works in terms of you kind of augment. So the university or athletics does something, and then you come behind that and add to that. Is that kind of what that's about when you talk about augment and adding to what the university or athletics is doing?
All right. Well, presently, what I mean by augment is we add to those athletes. It's a recruitment and retention tool, Charles. We definitely understand that's what it is. So those athletes who have higher visibility, higher value, that's what we do. We try to recruit and retain those athletes. Now, like I was saying, with the settlement, reaching 105 scholarships and the ability for the school to actually provide those opportunities, we have to have those conversations about what roles need to be. If the school is going to be involved in providing something like a UBI, everybody gets a specific amount, or if the school says, hey, the collective is going to be in charge of finding these athletes, putting the athletes to work doing specific tasks, that's the conversation we need to have, sooner rather than later.
So the athletic department or the coach of that particular sport will come to you, Charles Edmond, Jamario Brooks, Cedric Tillman. These are the names, and then it's up to the collective to kind of pick up from there and take it from that point. Is that kind of how it works, or how it's going to work?
Well, it's both ways. Coaches come to us and say, we like XYZ athlete. And then, we have eyes. We participate on Saturdays and Thursdays and Mondays. And we can see athletes that kind of have a gravitational pull towards the fan base. And we'll approach them about those specific athletes and say, hey, what do you think about, these athletes being a part of the collective? And they give us their feedback. And what we do after that, we have a board of 11 people we call the Ward Council. They sit down, I provide them that information, and then they tell me yay or nay.
So there is a process. It's not just names, put names out there. There's a process to all this.
Absolutely. And it's definitely behind the scenes. You wouldn't know most of us because we feel that it should be about the student athlete. It should be about the athlete and their accomplishments and providing them opportunities. I tell people all the time, we're way more Suge Knight than we are Puff Daddy. And I'm talking about the 1990 version. You wouldn't know us because, we're not all in the videos. We're not all posing. We want to be athlete centric.
And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's good that you hear 1871 collective or these different collectives, and maybe it's good that the individuals are behind the scenes. You don't necessarily, you're out in front of it because you're the spokesman, but the other folks that you've talked about, the committee, the boards, you probably don't know who they are, and you probably shouldn't, because that's stuff that's kind of done behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are wonderful human beings. A lot of them are leaders at Alcorn State University, leaders in the alumni chapter. I know a couple of them wouldn't mind me saying it. Miss Sandrina Lofton, Miss Leslie McGee. They're wonderful individuals that provide input. Marcus Sappho. We have a lot of people who love Alcorn, and they do it because of their love for Alcorn, not because of any individual accolade.
One of the things I was thinking about, I was talking with somebody about the other day was, okay, so the collective, to be a part of it, for example, if you wanted to donate to the Alcorn Foundation, it's a 501c3, you get a tax write-off benefit from that. For those who want to participate with the collective, is it the same type of business where you get a tax write-off from something like this?
It is not, Charles, and that is important to note. In Mississippi, collective has to be a for-profit business. So we are an LLC. Individuals providing donations, they are not tax deductible. But the caveat is, if you are a business, it is tax deductible because they are allowed to write it off as an advertising expense. So we welcome all businesses, all Alcornites in business. Hey, please join the 1871 Collective. We can bring athletes to you to advertise for your business. And hey, at the end of the year, you can write it off.
I wanted to do a lot of people know that. Because you just think of these different entities, and because it's a collective or whatever it might be, the assumption is you have, and for some people it doesn't matter, I'm sure, because they just want to contribute, they want to donate or just be a part. But that's just something I was thinking about, with the way things are going, trying to get a little tax break from it. But this is a different type of donation.
Correct. But if you need that type of donation, and I tell everybody, Charles, if you need to be able to write it off, if you donate what you would have donated to us, to the Tomorrow Club or any other athletic endeavor at the university that is able to be written off, we'll give you a membership in the collective for free, because we love Alcorn. I mean, it's not about bringing money to us. It's about supporting these athletes and supporting Alcorn as a whole.
Talk about how many folks that you have roughly that have kind of donated to the collective. What is the goal going forward here as we get ready for another sports season?
All right. Well, my ultimate goal is to have 250 subscribers. We've had donations over the 170 amount, and we have about 140 steady subscribers right now. And that allows us to support about 12 athletes. And what we would like to do is, if we get it up to 250 subscribers, that would give us an athlete at every sport, and then give us the ability to, add additional pieces when we're able to talk to these coaches about the things they need. Like the young lady that just was here before us stated, if you want to go out and have the opportunity to pick up additional pieces that you think would fit you, we want to be that additional sounding board for you.
Let's turn the clock back. A year ago, we were wondering what this landscape would look like. What were your thoughts 12 months ago about this landscape in terms of where it was? And now 12 months later, you just mentioned June 6th kind of turned everything upside down. So you're shaking your head. What were you thinking 12 months ago? And then post June 6th, what was your mindset?
Right. Charles, this thing is an amoeba. It changes rapidly and every day. When we first started, we thought, hey, we could be able to be in a space, compensate some of our key athletes, limit some attrition. And we thought that would be, significant. But now with this change in 105 roster limit, where you're talking about your top D1 schools are going to provide 105 scholarships. There's no doubt in my mind that every single one of them is going to utilize every single scholarship opportunity that they have. That's going to limit the opportunity, in my mind, for us to bring in some of those athletes who wouldn't have been on scholarship, who might have gravitated towards us. So what I've been telling people, especially our board, is, we need to step our game up to be more attractive than just a scholarship spot on a D1 lower tier school. We need to be able to offer them incentives greater than what they could get just being on a roster somewhere. So, those are the things that we need to have conversations about with the athletic department and where we need to go in the future.
I'm just wondering just the different directions and how the compensation takes place. I mean, traditionally, the way it was for decades and generations is about a scholarship. You get a full ride, but then you add to that, then you get your refund, you get your Pell Grant back. That's money in your pocket. And now you step it up to the next level, which is the collective. So you're going to have a combination of a lot of different, I guess I'm assuming this, but probably somewhat correct, different funding mechanisms, which includes the 1871 collective. So this just adds another spot to the table. And of course, at our level, you talk about 105 scholarships at the FBS level. From what A.D. Robinson mentioned a couple of weeks ago, it's 63 at our level, FCS level, 63. And it's not gonna change. It's gonna stay at 63. But the roster numbers of that 63 scholarships, how do you funnel that with the amount of players that you have on your roster? And so that's where I was kind of saying, well, if you get Pell Grant, you get some refund back, and then you got the collective. So that kind of adds some different dynamics to it.
All right. Well, my understanding is with the SWAC opting in, each school has the opportunity to go up to 105. Now, they definitely, in my mind, not getting ahead of the athletic department, should discuss among all of them all of the member groups if we're going to have a limitation or not, because you're going to end up having a situation where you have haves and have-nots. Just by the essence of opting in, you have the ability to go up to 105. If we're staying at 63 across the board, I think that's, probably the number we need to be at. I don't know if we have 105 athletes in football, and then, basketball went up to 15, baseball went up to 45. So I don't know if we have the type of athletes that we could actually expend that type of capital on. But I mean, that conversation definitely needs to be had. And we're here, like I say, to augment what the school decides they aren't going to be able to participate in.
What are those conversations been like between you and the athletic director? Without going too deep into it, just a general get it off the ground type of conversation. What has it been like so far?
All right. Oh, they've been good. I mean, he's actually been extremely supportive. He came to us on behalf of the basketball coach, who has some excellent ideas about what he would like to do as far as, building collective compensation for his athletes. We text back and forth on a regular basis. I email him every time we pick up an athlete. It's been a good relationship. We just need to, at this point, since June 6th, and we don't have many days till we get to, a different era when we start the football season. We just need to buckle it down and have, some stronger conversations about exactly what we both see and where we need to go. But, I mean, the athletic department has been excellent. Mr. Robinson has been very responsive. If you don't understand what you have, and Dr. Janeiro Smith, as far as supporting these athletes, understanding where they are academically, and, bringing forth that, I'll say, quote unquote, auntie vibe, and taking care of those athletes. I mean, you have a gym. So presently the relationship is extremely wonderful with the athletic department and the administration and Dr. Cook.
How many student athletes do you foresee for this upcoming season? Is that kind of a revolving door number? Is there a certain number that you would like to do every year, or is that just depending on the contributions? How does that work?
It's a revolving door every year, Charles, and it could change when the athlete graduates. It can change when these portals open up. So we have to be very conscious of those windows. Unfortunately, we lost several athletes here to the recent portal openings. We lost Malachi, who was what we call the logo. I mean, he was representative of what Alcorn was to us. Recently lost Miss Gallegos, a track athlete, and you mentioned Destiny earlier, who was very integral to our basketball program. So we're constantly trying to replace those individuals. We have to find people with those type of personalities, those type of abilities to effectuate change at their sport and at Alcorn more broadly. So it's a moving target, Charles. I mean, we would like to have an athlete at every sport, but depending on donations, sometimes that isn't, a feasible goal at that time, So, but our goal is to have somebody at every sport at least.
And then as far as what they get, I mean, you hear the numbers, you read the numbers. I mean, we shouldn't even talk about the FBS in terms of football. You got players getting $1 million and $500,000 and this other type of stuff. But what is realistic in terms of just players at our level, the SWAC level, in terms of taking care of their needs, or a certain, is there kind of a negotiation type thing between, okay, so you've identified Charles Edmond as a student athlete. I mean, I don't have any eligibility left, but I'm just throwing it out there. But you identify Charles Edmond, you talk to Charles Edmond's coach, and now we're at the table. What kind of happens after that?
All right. Well, we have metrics based on their public visibility, like I talked about.
Right.
We definitely look at their social media and seeing how many people they're able to reach. And we kind of formulate a number based on that. We also look at valuations based on other websites. Like we had some web athletes who were actually evaluated on on3.com. And we kind of looked and saw what they felt their valuation was, and we compensate, accordingly. But when you're talking about those millions and 100,000s, you got to take a few zeros off for us, Charles. We just not at the point to where we can be able to provide that type of compensation to our athletes.
That's really interesting. So it's kind of like a business. I mean, if the business makes money, then the money goes out. But if not, then you have to kind of peel back a little bit, it seems like.
100%.
So talk about the goals coming up for this upcoming season. We got football coming up when we open up against Northwestern State. Just give us your own thoughts as you kind of get into football. We open up with the first 4 games on the road. Our first home game is high school day in October. Just give us your thoughts as you're looking at the football platform, as you're looking at Coach Thomas in the second season. Just talk about that.
All right. Well, I think we have an excellent opportunity here. I mean, I think the first 4 games, like you say, are going to say a lot about where we are as a program. We definitely have confidence in Coach Thomas motivating the young men and putting them in a place to succeed. We always, have those conversations about if we have people in the right places, if we're compensating the right people. But as a collective, our job isn't to dictate to coaches what they should or shouldn't do. And that's one thing that I talk about, and that's why we're not very visible. We're not going to tell you what you should do to do your job. Because if you come on my job and tell me what to do, I'm probably going to have some choice words for you. We just want to augment what they're doing and try to give them the opportunity to succeed. And that's where we are.
You had some pretty good players last year. You talked about Malachi Bailey. Destiny Brown was really red hot. I'm sure your goal is to get, in a perfect world, to get some athletes in every sport. I'm sure that is the ultimate goal of this.
No, it's definitely the ultimate goal. And we want to augment what other people are doing. I mentioned earlier Coach Banks with track and field. They made tremendous strides this present year. Several athletes did some great things. I mean, we had one of those on staff, and we're definitely looking at him and having conversations with him about helping him augment his program. I mean, the ultimate goal for us, and I feel the university as well, should always be a Commissioner's Cup. That's what we should be focusing on. We should be providing the resources, bringing in the athletes, and doing what we need to do to be the best in the SWAC, period. That's the way I view it. It may be a lofty goal. I know some people say you shouldn't set goals that you think aren't attainable, but I think with the people we have at Alcorn, the ability to get athletes at Alcorn, that, why not set your sights for the moon? A Commissioner's Cup is where we want to be.
And also, as far as the collective, have you? I'm sure you've probably looked at some of these other collectives at other schools just to kind of see. I mean, do you? Well, maybe I should ask it this way: do you, or have you looked at other collectives, talk with other people at other SWAC schools, and seeing how their collective is kind of modeled? I mean, I know it's different amounts, but I'm sure the concept is kind of sort of the same. Have you looked at that?
SWAC schools, no, Charles, because truthfully, we kind of led the SWAC in bringing in that opportunity to people. We kind of set that model for other people. So that conversation with other SWAC people, we hadn't had many of those. But we have looked at other collectives, specifically in Mississippi, that have been extremely successful. And one of those is the Grove Collective at Ole Miss. I mean, what they have done as far as utilizing the athletic department to advertise, to bring in athletes at every sport. If you look at them, they have been top 10 on the national stage as far as competition, So that's the kind of vision we see for the 1871 collective in Alcorn State University.
So here we are, second week in July. What do you guys have going here? You talk about the conversations between the collective and the university, the athletic director. That's definitely on the poll. What are some of the things you all looking to do here as we get ready for the upcoming season in the next 6-7 weeks?
All right. So we're always watching. Of course, SWAC Media Day is coming up, and generally SWAC Media Day, what we do is we provide attire for the athletes in order for them to kind of provide advertisement for us, and we'll continue to do the same things. We'll be looking to see at the beginning of the season if there are athletes in the realm in football that deserve to be added to the collective. We had a conversation with Coach Thomas. Looking forward to sitting down with Coach Morton. I've seen some great things about him going out recruiting. I've heard some numbers about him wanting to attain as far as his athletes, and we definitely need to have that conversation. Like I say, the goal ultimately is a Commissioner's Cup, and we can't do that without every sport being able to compete at a high level, to recruit at a high level, and to bring in the athletes that they think they need.
And then, of course, Nate Kilbert, back-to-back SWAC tournament championship games. You talk about Destiny Brown. Then you got baseball with Carlton Hardy's got pretty much a whole new roster. Brianna Billy pretty much has upgraded her roster. To me, there's just a lot of good things happening. And I feel like there's some forward momentum going into this upcoming sports season. A lot of folks chomping at the bit, ready to get football back up there. It's going to be an interesting schedule on the back end, Grambling at home, Southern at home. So an opportunity, if we handle business early in the season, be in position late in the season to win the Western Division. If we're in that position, we've hosted the first 2 SWAC championship games, in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Just think if we got back to that, how much that would increase even the collective, because you're going to have so many different facets with that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not rocket science, Charles. Winning gets support. I mean, it's no doubt. You look at the school up north. They won, they get support. Win, you get support.
Man, that's some good stuff. How can people get in touch with you, the collective? People want to contribute, donate, be a part of. The 1871collective.com is the website. There's a lot of good stuff there. A lot of the players that you all have sponsored is on there. But how can people, be a part and begin to be a part of this?
All right. Well, you said it, Charles, the 1871collective.com. Go to donate, pick a tier, and choose a monthly donation. And if you need to contact me, go to the 1871collective@gmail.com, or you can call me personally at 601-415-5804. We're always happy to have that conversation.
And I'm on your website now. I mean, Tyler Macon, Destiny Brown, you talked about it. Jacorian Sewell, who's going to be a huge deal in the backfield. So those are just some of the athletes that you have there. And I really like the different levels coming up with the Chief, the Brave level, gold, purple, white, Young Warrior, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, how'd you come up with those different levels? It's starting, small 175 up to $5,000 per year. Talk about that.
All right. Well, we wanted to offer something for everybody. We want everybody to be involved. A lot of times people feel like you only cater to people who offer you bigger donations. And that's not what we are. I mean, to me, that's not what Alcorn is. Alcorn is everybody. So we want to offer a tier for everybody. We even have a $5 tier, Charles, if you want to give $5 a month that we provided to folk. We call it Give Me 5. So every little bit counts. And, we're going to have to be in this space not only to win championships. I know at Alcorn, we're used to winning championships. We're spoiled, and we don't do a lot as far as a fan base to effectuate those championships. But that time is over. We used to say, love and providing barbecue and fish plates and doing all of these things and loving on the athletes was enough. But in this era, we're going to have to do more. So, if you can, join us at the 1871collective.com, pick a tier, and, let's bring in the type of individuals, the Jimmys and Joes and Janes and Jennifers that are going to bring us success and allow you to talk those things online that you like to talk.
I know you're pretty visible. You've been in some of the basketball games. Will the 1871 have a presence at some of the road games? Memphis, Mississippi State, Northwestern State, Alabama A&M. Will you all have some presence there as we get ready for football and the first 4 on the road?
Right. Well, my wife and I, we used to travel to just about every away game. Now, having a booth there, I don't know what that would entail with dealing with the actual venue holders. So we hadn't contemplated that. But we will definitely be visible at every home game. And we plan on having visibility at every home game for every sport. Like I said, we want to have a situation where we're supporting every athlete at Alcorn State University.
I'm looking at the website, Young Warrior 1, Young Warrior 2, Young Warrior 3, and you even talked about a $5 tier, the gold tier, $1,200, purple, $600 per year, white, $300 per year, and of course the chief is the big one, $5,000 per year, and the brave, $2,500 per year. You've referenced June the 6th. Did that shake you to your core when all of this came down June the 6th? Did you kind of anticipate that this was coming?
Well, it was anticipated, Charles. I mean, the writing was on the wall that they were going to allow schools to provide that compensation. We were sitting back waiting to see what the SWAC would do if the SWAC would opt in, because, all FBS schools were required to opt in, and other Division I schools had the opportunity to say, no, we decline, or we accept. So with the acceptance of Alcorn, that kind of changed our telemetry and our trajectory. And like I say, we definitely need to have those conversations with the administration and see exactly what their vision is presently for the opt-in, And I think we can do that. I think we can do that expeditiously. Like I say, relationship we have with A.D. Robinson, having conversations with Vice President Ward and Dr. Cook, I think, they definitely want the athletics program to succeed. And, from that conversation, I think they understand that NIL is a big part of it. So we're ready to play our part.
Well, I'm looking forward to talking to you again once you have those conversations and once everything is kind of lined up. I definitely want to talk to you again. And I apologize for not talking to you before, because I know you all have had the big event in Vicksburg at the rooftop. And I know you all have had that. That was a real big thing at the, to talk about that event, because that was a big deal. A lot of folks attended that. I saw the pictures, I saw the videos. That was a really big deal. Pretty good food there, and a really good venue in a rooftop overlooking Vicksburg.
All right. It's really good food, Charles. It wasn't pretty good. It was excellent food. All right. We have an excellent caterer. But yeah, at the end of the year, for the last home game for every season, we're going to have an event that celebrates our seniors and our donors. And that's one of the perks of being a member of the 1871 Collective. And that's going to be at the rooftop at 1311. So you can write it in ink that this year we will be back celebrating our seniors and donors at the last home football game at the roof at 1311.
Talk about that venue. I mean, I've been there a few times. I just love the ambience of it. Talk about how that came about, the relationship with the rooftop, and how you picked that particular spot.
All right. Well, we went and we looked at the spot and we said, this is a place where people would feel extremely comfortable. It overlooks the Mississippi River and everybody, enjoys that space. We're doing it usually at the middle of November or early in November. The weather is perfect. And like I said, we have an excellent caterer. And you come up there, if you're a member of the 1871 Collective, for absolutely zero. So if you are sitting in your hotel room Friday night, Saturday night, after the game, and you're getting up and you're going to Waffle House anyway, why not come and spend time with the 1871 Collective where you can receive, like I say, wonderful ambiance and excellent opportunity to get a meal.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is J.J. Smith joining us. We appreciate you coming on. What would you like to share with the Braves Nation as you kind of unwind all this and try to put it all together? There's a lot of moving pieces, and I've learned a lot here in this time that we have talked, because there's a lot of stuff that maybe some people don't know about how all this works. But what would you like to share with folks to kind of continue to enlighten how this partnership is going to work, especially in this new landscape?
All right. Well, first thing is we need your support. 1871collective.com. Second thing is we understand it's a new space. Contact us anytime, and we'll be able to provide whatever information you need. Third thing is we have kind of fallen back in this space because there are excellent opportunities presently to support Alcorn outside of us. And we definitely recognize that. The March to Macy's, please go and donate. Ralph Holloway and the SOD Club is doing an excellent job in trying to generate revenue to take those young men and women to New York to represent Alcorn in a major way. And that exposure, we feel, gives the whole university and us exposure. So, donate to the March to Macy's and the SOD Club. Other than that, we're here. If you want some gear, give us a call, 601-415-5804. But we definitely want you as a member. And our seasoned alumni, we're really grateful to have Mr. Davis Weathersby as a monthly subscriber from the A Club. It's definitely beneficial to have someone of his depth and history being a member. So we ask for all of you to provide that same level of support if you can.
Well, JJ, we really appreciate you coming on with us, man. And we're going to be talking again as you have those conversations and want to get an update on where things are. Ladies and gentlemen, J.J. Smith of the 1871 Collective joining us, our first conversation, and we're going to be talking a lot more. We'll see. I'm sure. Are you coming to Birmingham next week?
Have to work. Won't be in Birmingham, but we definitely will have people there observing what's going on. Yeah.
We'll have boots on the ground in Birmingham. We'll be on the air. So wall-to-wall coverage, tell them to come by and see us. We'll definitely get them on beginning at 9:30. No show next Tuesday. We'll be on next Wednesday morning at 9:30. We're going to be talking about the collective. We're going to be talking with A.D. Robinson and coaches and players, the commissioner. In this new landscape, that's going to be probably one of the big storylines with all of our schools. What does this new landscape look like? A.D. Ashley Robinson, as well as Dr. Jason Cable. I'm going to send out a text to him, and we're going to just talk all about that because that is an important piece as all the schools have opted in. JJ, we appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Go Braves.
Go Braves. We'll go Braves in Birmingham next Wednesday. SWAC Football Media Day will be there at 9:30. For our producers, Cedric Tillman, Jamario Brooks, Charles Edmond, we appreciate J.J. Smith. We appreciate Gabrielle Harris Lady Braves new volleyball coach, joining us on Inside Braves Athletics. I'm Charles Edmond. Have a good week. We'll talk to you from Birmingham next Wednesday morning at 9:30. So long.
What's up, everybody? This is Leon. Over the past 3 years, the United Eagle College Brothers helped more